Hello everyone and welcome to Dinky Toy Restorations, my channel for the sympathetic restoration of my favourite childhood toys. I shall be restoring the Austin Somerset saloon in this video. Now I have to say this is one of my favourite cars from the time in terms of modelling. I think the styling of this is so 1950s, and it's just beautifully proportioned. It was built by Austin and it follows on from the Austin Devon in development, which was a little smaller and more clunky. This is a lot more elegant. This was also designated the Austin A40. It's also a nice colour. It is a little worn. I was tempted not to restore it, but I think I will on balance, and I'm going to keep it this lovely powder blue colour. I'm going to keep the wheel colour as well, the contrasting blue wheel colour. I think that looks very good. I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with this. The base plate and everything looks fine. A fairly straightforward first job on this one is simply to remove the two rivets that hold the base plate in position. There is a dimple in them, so I'll start straight away with my 4.5mm drill and just drill these out. So there we are. There are just two main components for this. I shan't remove the wheels and axles from the base plate. So this is it, ready for cleaning and paint stripping. We'll give it a clean in the ultrasonic. Some warm water. Couple of drops of washing up liquid and 3 minutes cleaning. Time to place the body into the ultrasonic cleaner. As you know, I have started to use this Eco 100 stripper. However, since the filming of this clip, I have discovered, thanks to an inquiry from subscriber Ralph Colombo, that this stripper seems to be no longer available. Furthermore, I can find no reference to the manufacturer anywhere on the internet. So I will soon need to source another stripper. Thanks Ralph, sorry I could not provide the link. I'm going to lower this in. Because I'm now finding it takes a little longer, I'll give it 3 minutes on agitation, and then I'll leave it for at least half an hour before I come back and check it. Well, the half hour's up, so let's see what's happened. Look at that. I don't know whether you can see the crinkly paint on that, but it's a bit mucky in here. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. So the casting is now ready and the paint stripped, and there are no imperfections in this to speak of and no repairs to do, but I will just go over it with the Dremel fitted with an abrasive brush, just to polish out some of the oxidization and get a general overall shine before I go to paint. Okay, that looks fine. Just check around the window apertures to make sure there's no flash. A little bit there actually, right in the corner. Just dress that out. And a little bit in the back there. Just to neaten up the window frame. No, that's fine. As I say, there's no problems with the casting of this, no repairs, so that's ready for final cleaning and paint. So this is the base plate with the wheels and axles still on, and I'm first going to just clean this up a little bit just in case there's any loose rust, but as you know I like to keep this as original in its sort of play worn condition, but I'm just going to bring it up a little bit, particularly the lettering, with just a quick cleaning with some fine steel wool. This is grade 4 noughts. Yeah, that's rather a nice patina, I think, on there. So now I'm going to varnish it with the acrylic floor polish. Being acrylic, this dries very quickly to a gloss finish, but it'll probably need 2 coats. Right, I'll just leave that to dry out and then I'll give it another coat. Time now to paint the bodywork, and for this I'm going to use the lovely pastel blue from the Steve Flowers range. This is 23 Cambridge Blue. Back to the base plate and wheels. I initially intended just to leave the wheels unpainted, but now I've decided to spray them, so it will mean repolishing the axles. It's a nice mid-blue, and I'm using a summer sky blue paint from the Steve Flowers range. So everything is masked and prepared. So the next thing is to paint the wheels. Some months ago I made this little tool, and the hole in it here fits over the end of an axle. So in this case I want to clean the paint off the end of the axle, but I don't want to damage the wheel. So this just pops over each axle. Actually the hole's a little small for these axles, so just going to open it out with a needle file. There we are, that one's clipped on properly actually. So clean off the end of the axle. Which it does very nicely without damaging the wheel. The final job before assembly is the hand painting of the silver parts. Basically the headlamps, the radiator grille and the front and rear bumpers. For this I use Humbrol number 11 silver. It is closer to the original colours that we used. As these were hand painted, there is probably a little variation to the way they were done, so I simply look up a mint selection of photographs of original Dinkies and take my cue from there. That looks fine. The radiator grille could be a little difficult because of the recesses in there. I want to try not to get the silver paint in there. So what I will do is just use a tissue and take some of the paint off so it's not too fluid like it just was on the headlamps. And I'm going to, instead of pushing the brush this way, I'm going to hold it flatter and try and paint across the grille. This will mean turning it round because I don't want to change the angle of the brush. So I'll do the both. So I'll do the painting from this angle first, up to the centre, and then I'll turn it round and complete this corner up to the edge and there up to the centre. And make sure they pop a little. Yeah, that looks good. I've got to do the same with the air intakes there. So, not too much paint on the brush, and just draw it flat. Across the top. Don't want to overdo it, I don't want it to look blobby. And then the other one. And breathe. Right, fine. Now, the silver on the bumpers seems to be more confined to just the fronts. This bit you would expect to be silver as well. Normally wasn't. It was just the body colour. So I can afford to use a little bit more paint on this because it's not so fiddly. So again, I'll apply it flat as opposed to like that, so the angle is as you see it, and then I can run that along the edge up to the other part of the bumper there. That looks good, so the edges weren't, the tops and bottoms weren't done. Around the corner in the same way, just run it around in one go and then leave it, and on this edge the same. Run it around and leave it. That looks pretty authentic, I think. Okay, now I'm just going to do the front of the two upright pieces there. Not too much paint on that because it's a smaller area. So just down there and just down there. Right, a good couple of hours have passed, so it's worth risking the back bumper now, and then I'll leave this overnight to fully dry out. The thing is, from watching the video, these sort of timings for letting paint dry, etc. are not obvious, but the blue colour on here after I sprayed it, I left it for 2 or 3 days to fully harden before I sort of continued with the restoration. So here again I'm going to, not a massive amount of paint on the brush, but I'm going to start again between the two uprights, holding my brush flat, and just drag it sideways across. Three. too. Okay, so that's the restoration finished. All I need to do now is the final assembly. I'm very pleased with it. I think it looks lovely. So before I do the final reveal, I'm going to assemble this using some araldite just to fix the new rivets in place on the posts. I painted them with the grey primer just to give them more the look of the original rather than new bright silver ones. The other thing I'm sure you've noticed in my videos is that I like to use these reproduction boxes from DRRB. I haven't no connection with the company at all. It's just I started to use them, and they really do finish my collection off nicely, I think. I bought my first couple of DRRB boxes from eBay, but they are actually cheaper if you visit their website. Before I show the reveal, I would like to remind you of what this Austin Somerset looked like when I bought it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe in the normal way. I am working on more restorations at the moment, so my next one will follow as soon as possible. See you next time.